Auto Mundial is sponsored by Trade Centre.
Welcome to Auto Mundial, the home of all the latest car news and reviews. This time we're taking a look at the latest hybrid from Honda, the new ZR-V. Is it good enough to take on the class-leading Nissan Qashqai?
We also have two fast V8 SUVs from Cadillac and Mercedes, plus VW's Touareg gets a fresh new face and some extra tech.
And finally, a Mercedes saloon with supercar performance. That's all coming up, but first, the news.
Volkswagen is scaling back its EV production with strong customer reluctance stated as the cause. Shifts at the German carmaker's Emden plant have been temporarily cancelled ahead of a 4-week holiday period for workers on electric car lines. Additionally, 300 of the 1,500 temporary staff currently employed there will not have their contracts renewed in August. According to Manfred Wolf, head of the factory's Works Council, demand for VW's electric models is 30% lower than originally predicted. Models affected include the ID4 SUV and the new ID7 saloon, with production of the first customer cars delayed from July to later this year. VW has recently invested €1.1 billion into the Emden plant as part of its makeover for EV production. The factory, which has been building Passats for 46 years, is due to cease ICE production by the end of 2023.
Honda is busy at the moment refreshing its range of SUVs. There's a new CR-V on the way and a new HR-V is out now. There's an electric one called the ENY1 and now this, the all-new ZR-V. Sitting in between the compact HR-V and the bigger CR-V, the ZR-V is a new hybrid crossover to rival the likes of the Nissan Qashqai and Skoda Karoq. According to Honda, the ZR-V shares its DNA with the Civic, but the designers have been careful to ensure it isn't just a jacked-up version of the family hatchback. Instead, it looks like a proper SUV, with inspiration taken from other models in Honda's lineup. At the front, it gets a small grille flanked by some slim headlights, while at the back, the large boot lid opens to reveal a low floor and lip to make things easy to load. It's far from the most exciting new car we've seen this year, but it's details like that that demonstrate the practicality that Honda has instilled within the ZR-V. With the rear seats in place, the boot measures a modest 380 litres, but fold them down and it increases to almost 1,300. There's good passenger space throughout too, giving you somewhere comfortable to enjoy the modern horizontal dash design similar to that of the Civic. There are 3 different trim levels on offer, but all versions get the same 7-inch infotainment system with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The entry-level Elegance model comes with an impressive kit list as standard, with 18-inch alloy wheels, front and rear parking sensors and a rear-view camera, as well as some lashings of leather. Next up is the Sport, which gains some gloss black exterior trim, matte black wheels, wireless phone charging, extra USB ports and an electric tailgate. Step up to the pricey Advanced model and leather seats, a heated steering wheel and a panoramic roof are added, as well as some diamond-cut alloys, a 10.2-inch digital driver's display and a premium sound system. Powering the ZR-V is the same hybrid setup you get in the Civic, a 2-litre petrol engine with 2 electric motors. It produces a healthy 181 bhp, giving this crossover a surprising turn of speed, hitting 62 miles per hour from rest in under 8 seconds. Fuel economy is decent too, with a WLTP figure of nearly 49 miles per gallon. So then, how does the ZR-V compare with the class bestseller, the latest Nissan Qashqai?
Well, like the Honda, the Qashqai is far from flashy, with a conservative design that's helped Nissan shift millions of them since it basically created the crossover class back in 2007. It's practical though, even more so than the Honda, with a bigger boot. It may not be the flashiest interior in the class, but it looks nice and modern, with some horizontal dashboard architecture and a big infotainment screen with built-in Google Street View, as well as Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Perhaps the biggest shake-up to the Qashqai formula is under the bonnet. Nissan has decided to ditch all the diesel engines available in the old car, with buyers now getting a choice of an updated version of the old 1.3 petrol, now with mild hybrid assistance and a new e-power model. The 1.3 is available with either 138 or 156 bhp and front or all-wheel drive. The e-power model though works a bit differently. Unlike a full series hybrid like a Toyota Prius, the 1.5 litre petrol motor doesn't give any drive to the wheels, instead acting as a generator to power the batteries and electric motors. In theory, this version should drive much like an electric car, but without the hassle of charging it.
The Honda then looks like it could be a serious contender in this hugely popular class, with loads of standard kit, plenty of room and that famous Honda build quality. The Qashqai might need to watch its back.
The latest Cadillac Escalade is a truly enormous car. In fact, it's even bigger than the old one. See this cruising slowly through town and it's immediately recognisable. The German manufacturers may be pioneering huge grilles at the moment, but the Escalade takes it to a whole new level. It gets all the signature Cadillac design elements, just scaled up, with long, narrow headlights and a badge the size of a dinner plate. Naturally, for a car of this bulk, it gets a suitably massive engine, a 6.2-litre V8 with 420 horsepower to be precise, but interestingly, this isn't the only option. For the first time in the Escalade's history, it's available with a diesel motor. While this news is unlikely to strike much good cheer among environmentalists, it is at least a bit greener than the petrol-powered alternative, offering greater fuel economy and just as much torque. However, now there's a third option. This is the new Cadillac Escalade V, the fastest and most powerful Escalade ever. To some, this big luxury SUV is a long overdue addition to Cadillac's V range. Unlike the smaller performance saloon cars though, the Escalade gets no supercar baiting black wing version. Instead, the regular V is the top of the Escalade pile. Under the bonnet sits a hand-built supercharged version of the 6.2-litre V8 pumping out 682 all-American horsepower. With its launch control system and 10-speed auto box, it will do 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds. Not bad for a car the size of a 2-bed mock Tudor semi. 80% of its 653 pounds-feet of torque is available from 2,000 RPM, meaning it'll provide the sort of shove usually reserved for EVs. The rumbling V8, whining supercharger and barking quad exhaust, though, are some not-so-subtle reminders that this is certainly no electric car. Where the standard Escalade is quiet and refined, the V is raucous and visceral. But while the sounds may be loud, the styling isn't. There are some subtle tweaks to mark it out from a regular car, but they don't go much beyond red brake calipers and big wheels.
If you're in the market though for a big V8 luxury SUV, are you better off looking to Germany? This is the Mercedes AMG G-Class, the love child of a military Jeep and a limousine. And this one in particular is the AMG-tuned G63, one of the silliest and most enjoyable SUVs money can buy. Unlike old AMG G-Wagons, this new one doesn't get a detuned engine from an E63. Nowadays, the chassis can actually handle the power. It gets the monstrous 4-litre twin-turbo V8, producing 577 brake horsepower. Now that's not as much as you get in the Caddy, but it will match its acceleration to 60, despite its brick-like aerodynamics. Inside, it's every bit as luxurious as any of Merc's other high-end cars, and a true rival to the beautifully trimmed Escalade.
Many say that the electric revolution is already here, and cars like these are dinosaurs. And they may well be right, but the Escalade V and G63 are evidence that the V8 will not go out without a bang. After the break, VW's new Touareg brakes cover.
Automundial is sponsored by Trade Centre. Automundial is sponsored by Trade Centre.
Coming up, Mercedes-AMG's V8 Super Saloon. First though, it's been nearly 2 decades now since we first saw Volkswagen's first attempt at a production SUV. It was part of a VW Group platform share with Audi and Porsche to create an off-road vehicle that handled like a saloon car. The Touareg entered production in 2002 and was joined by the Audi Q7 and Porsche Cayenne. And 2 decades later, it's still punching above its weight, offering a cut-price alternative to the likes of the Lamborghini Urus and Bentley Bentayga, with which it shares a platform. This is the new 2024 Touareg, a midlife facelift for the 3rd generation car, which has been with us since 2018. Of course, there are plenty of styling tweaks. There's a new front grille, headlights and bumpers, while at the back the big SUV now features a full-width light bar and an illuminated VW badge to make sure you don't confuse it for a Cayenne. To top off the cosmetic makeover is a new selection of colours, but this facelift is more than just skin deep. As well as the new look, the Touareg also gets plenty of new tech. 4 trim levels are on offer, but all versions come with some revised screens inside. Ahead of the driver is the so-called InnoVision cockpit, a 12-inch digital display, while the infotainment is also new and improved, with wireless smartphone mirroring and updated sat-nav and voice control. Elsewhere, an electric tailgate is now standard across the range, as are the heated seats, keyless go, adaptive cruise control and a rear parking camera. What isn't new, however, is the selection of engines. As before, there are 5 powertrains to choose from, all of which are 3-litre V6s. The diesel is available with either 227 or 289 horsepower, while the petrol model gets 335. There's a petrol hybrid with 376 brake horsepower, or this, the flagship of the range, the Touareg R. With performance versions of just about every other SUV based on the Touareg's platform, It was only a matter of time before VW built a fast Touareg, and it too has received a refresh. The Touareg R's hybrid system produces a combined 455 brake horsepower, propelling the big SUV from 0 to 62 miles per hour in a shade over 5 seconds. No KN turbo then, but certainly no slouch.
However, the Touareg isn't the only big luxury SUV to receive an update this year. This is the new BMW X5, and like the Volkswagen, it's been subject to a similar bit of nip and tuck. At the front you find a new set of slimmer headlights, a new pair of kidney grills and a restyled bumper. The rear end has also been treated to some new lights, but that's about it. The interior has had a few minor tweaks, mainly focused around the infotainment, but otherwise feels every bit the premium car it is. It's under the bonnet though where the big changes have been made to both the X5 and its sister car, the swoopier coupe-shaped X6. Every model still comes with an 8-speed auto box, but 48-volt mild hybrid tech is included across the range. The entry point in the range is a 3-litre diesel with 294 bhp, with numerous more powerful petrol models. Prices for the BMW start at £68,000, a little bit more than the outgoing Touareg, but we expect the new 2024 car to be a bit closer.
The Touareg then remains as intriguing a prospect as it always has done, offering everything you get from an X5 or GLE without the look at me styling and flashy badges. UK order books open soon, with an estimated starting price of somewhere around £62,000.
These days, it seems that Mercedes-AMG has lost some of its magic. The new C63 has lost its V8 and gained a hybrid 4-pot, and the latest press releases seem to largely contain details of electric SUVs. Thankfully though, they do seem to have some petrol heads locked away in dark rooms building some of the maddest cars on the planet. And one of the cars is this, the AMG GT 4-door. More expensive and not as nice to look at as the BMW M5 or Audi RS6, it's always rather understandably been quite a rare sight on the roads. Now though, AMG is looking to change that with a comprehensive update. There have been some minor updates to the 6-cylinder car, but the flagship V8 has had a thorough reworking. At first glance though, not a great deal seems to have changed. It still looks pretty much the same as it always has, bar some updated badges and externally fluted exhaust pipes. Even the engine is the same, AMG's famous turbocharged 4-litre V8 producing 630 horsepower. However, look closely and you'll spot a few worrying details. There's a badge on the side that says E-Performance, and there's some sort of flap on the rear bumper that looks as if it could be hiding a charging point. You see, the Mercedes-AMG GT63 SE Performance, to give it its full title, is a plug-in hybrid. The small 6.1 kilowatt-hour battery is quick to charge and can provide up to 7.5 miles of electric-only driving. It also means that the big, thirsty V8 Merc can now achieve more than 32 miles per gallon. But this new E-Performance version of the GT 4-door isn't really about fuel economy. You see, the electric motor has another benefit. At full power, it produces an extra 200 bhp, meaning you get a combined total of 831. As a result, this big saloon car can do 0 to 62 in 2.9 seconds, topping out at just shy of 200 miles per hour. What we have here then is a fast, green, practical 4-door family car that just happens to be the most powerful road-going Mercedes ever made.
Believe it or not though, AMG isn't alone in the class. Enter the Porsche Panamera Turbo S E Hybrid. Like the Merc, it has a snappy name and a plug-in hybrid system. Also, like the Mercedes, it uses a turbocharged 4-litre V8, but this time it's hooked up to a bigger battery. As a result, the Panamera can drive much further on electric power, up to 31 miles, while economy is up massively to 97 miles per gallon. However, it can't match the Merc on power. 690 brake horsepower is impressive though, and it'll hit 62 miles per hour from rest in 3.2 seconds, providing you've spec'd the optional Sport Chrono Pack. It isn't the best looking car in the world, but neither is the Merc, and there is an estate version available called the Sport Turismo. Inside though, you're in for a real treat. The Panamera has a fantastic cabin. It's well trimmed and spacious, not to mention more tasteful than the shiny carbon-clad cockpit of the Mercedes.
If you're a fan of the V8 Super Saloon formula but don't want the PHEV setup, both of these cars are available without them. They're not quite as quick, but they are lighter. For the ultimate in four-door speed though, it seems like a plug-in hybrid is what you need.
Join us again next week on Auto Mundial, as Lotus shows it can do more than just sports cars.
Auto Mundial is sponsored by Trade Centre.